Hi everyone, this is Letitia Andrade with Healthy Planet Group, and happy Monday. And if you're like me, sometimes you feel as if life is like Groundhog's Day and you sometimes feel stuck, right? So I want to come on today and share with you an amazing tool to help you move forward to create the life in which you're really wanting to live versus old ways of living. So the question for you right now is, what are you constantly telling yourself on a daily basis? Okay. Hey Amy, how's it going? Are you in tune with your subconscious programming and ways in which you may be feeling stuck? Okay, part of our personal development journey, and you guys know how much I love personal development, involves being conscious of how our thoughts, patterns of thinking, and ways of being affect the way that you live your life. And if you feel stuck, sometimes it is important to evaluate how our subconscious programming could be holding us back. So, one of my favorite Instagram accounts is the Holistic Psychologist, and she has probably taught me more things than I have learned going to therapy here and there throughout the years. Can't say that I've been someone that's gone to therapy forever, but I've tried it and it was useful. But her account is absolutely spectacular if you love personal development and also kind of moving yourself along your healing journey of really examining the way in which you live. And so she basically talks about how manifesting the life you want, right, rather than unconsciously acting out traumas of your past, is really the way to move forward. And I want to introduce to you one of her favorite tools she uses, which is called a future self journal. And she talks about that on her YouTube channel, and I really incorporated her thoughts of creating this journal practice with a few other people that I really enjoyed their journal practice to kind of do something that makes sense for me, which is really what we all have to do, is do a practice that really makes sense to us. So her tool basically helps us create consciousness in our life to start actively transitioning, right, to be the highest version of ourselves. And I'll kind of walk you through how she does this. And so previous to this, I gotta admit that a lot of the journals that I have, and really I started a journal practice when I was about 10 and didn't do it every day, but the journals that I have, right, deep in our drawers, and maybe you guys have some too, is really filled with maybe kind of hard times, painful moments, things that I didn't really want to talk about out loud or even with friends or family. And so looking back on journals that you kind of have, you know, that you use in this way can kind of make you think that your life really kind of sucked sometimes. And it really kind of doesn't remind you of all these amazing moments in your life and all these amazing things that you could be grateful for. So we know that writing can be a powerful outlet to learn things about ourselves and express things that we can't bring ourselves to say out loud. But do we really want to look back on a bunch of journals that really remind us of some of these things that maybe we'd rather just kind of forget? So the magic of this specific practice is that you are consciously examining your thoughts, actions, and behaviors to manifest your reality. And the way the questions are organized will kind of let you see how this is done. It basically, her whole method is that you pair a new way of being with something you're grateful for. So basically, it's tricking your mind because our mind can't distinguish, she says, between reality and imaginary thoughts. So you're basically tricking your brain into thinking that these things that you're manifesting and writing down as the way in which you want to live is actually how you are right now. Okay, and so let me just kind of walk you through some of these questions that she kind of says, you know, to kind of order, to kind of bring about this new way of being for yourself. So the first question is, how are you feeling right now, right? And it's just kind of things that you write down quickly, not too much overthinking. Number two is, what are 3 things you're grateful for? Number 3 is, what behavior or pattern do you want to change? Maybe it's changing the way you would respond to certain things in life, right? Maybe it's an actual habit you want to change. It could be anything. And if you feel overwhelmed with this, just focus on one for 30 days, she suggests. The next question is, who do you need to be to achieve this? And write affirmations your future self will embody for you to achieve this. Okay? The next question is, the person I am becoming will experience more of blank. And the next one is, what can you do today to get one step closer? The next one is, when I think about who I am becoming, I feel blank. And the final one is, today's affirmation is, and then you fill that out. So you can kind of see how she pairs things you're grateful for with new ways of being. And she kind of tells you also, if you could take one step closer today, what would you do, right? Instead of kind of feeling like you're stuck, like, let's take actions forward. So I think that you guys will really enjoy that, because it is just something that when you do on a daily basis, literally changes the way in which you go about your day. And it's really, really powerful. And so sometimes I like to close this journal practice with a little bit of meditation-ish, kind of visualizing this idea of how I want to go about my day, or maybe a certain affirmation, and that helps me kind of focus on my breath and just kind of really start the day with an intention. And as we know, there's so many benefits to writing down things that we're grateful for. One of my favorite, he's called a happiness researcher. He says that when we do this for 21 days, actually write down the things that we're grateful for, it actually retrains our brain to scan the world for positive versus negative, right? And one other little tip that I really enjoy to do this practice with is, as I go about my day, and usually there's a point in my day, sometimes it's mid-afternoon, sometimes it's later, maybe you guys can relate, that you're just kind of feeling overwhelmed by the activities of the day. You know, there's so much coming at us, so many things that add up on our to-do list every day. So I kind of like to have a little check-in and remind myself of this intention that I started for the day and that I planned out, and focus on the deep breathing, just to kind of remind yourself, right, that you are in control of the way in which you go about your life, and to remember the intention that you set. So if you enjoyed this video, please drop a value down below, or comment or share. And if you would like me to inbox you with these questions, go ahead and send me an inbox below. And I highly suggest you check out the Holistic Psychologist on Instagram. I promise that you will really love her stuff. Sometimes it's hard to hear because we also have to take personal responsibility